3, 2, 1, go.
Hi everyone, if you're new to my channel, I am Sam and I make videos about autism and neurodiversity here on YouTube every single week. If you think you might like that kind of thing, please hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it so you get...
Remember to do that. We watched 2 videos and she knows what she's talking about and she deserves it as... And what I saw, because I'm not showing that, she is still throwing so videos on YouTube. So yes, remember to support her. This is important part. Very, very, very important part.
Notification every time I post a new video. Now there are many people and healthcare professionals that still believe that autism has a certain look to it.
Jesus Christ, I had a crash out about this last stream. I hate when someone say that I don't look autistic. Jesus Christ, what does it mean? What does it mean that I don't look like autistic, man? Because this doesn't make me any sense. There is even more autistic people that, well, have autism, but I don't want to show it because, well, we're masking. We don't want to show it. That's why we don't look autistic. Duh. Besides, how autistic... autism is a more like behavior, not a look. It's only behavior, not a look.
This is generally based on outdated stereotypes perpetuated by the media and research that only focuses on children, for example. But
yeah, there is still, I don't know. Generally, with medicine, for example, there is still like lowering prices for children, and this is good. For example, children from very beginning of their life to 18 years old can have special medicines, like for the ADHD, that make them focus a little bit better, for example, in school, which is good. This is very needed because, as we know, with ADHD, it's very hard to focus on very different things. And after that, after 18 years old, it's just vanishing. You will pay full prices. Why? Why? You think this is vanishing from me? Same as this with autism. Do you think that I am adult, so this is vanishing? It's not. Like she said from the previous video, I born with it and I die with it. Deal with it.
our understanding of autism has broadened in light of the realization that many autistic people can and do mask their autism. Sometimes
Some, and I would even prefer most, even if not nearly all of us, because with very, 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 very hard autism, as I would say. I know that's maybe here, like, this is very harsh description, but for simplicity, I would say it hard autism, that people have a very hard moments even with the simple communication or simple humans communication. I don't know how to say it. And for those people, it's very, very hard to mask anyhow. They just don't see any use of that. They just are. But for the rest of us, where we don't want to show it anything like that, we're just starting to hiding behind the mask. When we are children, when that person is a child. Why? Because they're laughing at us. That's why. They don't know that we are. They know we are a little different, but because of those differences, we are laughed at. So we're starting to hide it. because we don't want to be, we want to be a part of a group, you know. And I think I forgot about one thing.
Point where they seem indistinguishable from their neurotypical peers. So what is masking? Masking essentially refers to an active attempt to conceal your true autistic nature or your real self. There are a variety of ways in which somebody might do this, and different people might use different methods, and some might use all of them, and some might use just one. And
I haven't really heard about different type of masking. I think that we're using masking as a general description of hiding true nature of our autism, you know. I don't know how there is that different type. We just want to hide it as a different behavior, as a different way of talking, as a not to talk sometimes. Because yes, for us sometimes even the talking is a very very hard time. I know that because of my experiences. It's hard. It's very hard to, as a simple even tasks of communication with other people, non-divergent. And we started to hide it. We adapting, but this is not us. This is like taking something and knowing that this is not our part.
some autistic people mask heavily and some don't mask at all, which is why they look autistic.
I still don't know what look autistic is. I often hear that I don't look autistic, but I still don't know what does it mean. What does it mean to look autistic? Sometimes I have feeling, that sense that someone can be neurodivergent, but this is always some kind of sense. This is not something that I can describe and see.
A really great research article came out recently which attempted to measure so-called compensatory strategies for the first time. I mean, can you believe it? It's 2020 and we're only just researching this now.
I think that in 2018 there was still a possibility. No, wait. Again, I think in 2018, but this is not that I'm sure. But there is one time that it wasn't so long ago that doctors said that autism and ADHD cannot be at the same time. It can't be at the same time. Right now we know that. We're still researching. It's 2026 right now. And we're still researching because everything that is with our mentality, mental health, we're just trying to know that. This is the very beginning of it. We started long time ago, but right now we're making good steps.
Anyway, it's a really great paper and I will link it below, but I've taken out the good bits for this video, I'd say. So they actually call masking compensatory strategies, and they identified 4 categories. So we call masking in a more general term, but this is what they call it.
Yeah, as I telling to you, because right now I will also learn something, but I always say about masking as something general that we are hiding behavior, way of talking, sometimes even way of looking, you know.
And for a very good reason, because their first category is masking, which is confusing, I think. But their definition of masking is specifically hiding aspects of yourself. So it's kind of like dampening your autistic behaviors, like stimming, constantly holding back your thoughts and opinions when you're in a social setting.
Yeah, social interaction is very hard, as we always, maybe not always, this is too big word, but very often we hide our opinions, our thoughts, because it maybe look strange. Not bad, but strange.
And essentially blending in with a group. And
Yeah, because people by default is a herd animal. I would say that we want to go into the group. We want to be part of the group. I don't know if this is genetic, that we don't want to be sometimes part of the group, or we developing by time. But from what I know, people want to be a part of the group. Sometimes this part of the group is not like general of the people, but some specific part of the group. But yes, from what I know, they want to be.
I do this a lot actually. If I'm in a group setting, I'm often really, really quiet, and then I kind of like interject only when I've kind of thought about what I want to say. But
Yeah, I have this very same thing. I have the very same thing that I only want to say when I'm thinking about the subject. If I'm not interested in subject, or I have any thoughts about it, because yes, I may have not thoughts about the specific subject, then I'm not talking. I'm just being silent. And when in a group of more non-neurodivergent people, or more specific non-autistic people, I can also be very, very quiet, because I don't know when and how I should say something. It's strange, but it's true for us.
it's not a natural process. It's much, much easier for me to just shrink back into the group and not draw attention to myself. And this strategy is quite low impact energy wise. You know, it doesn't take a lot of energy to do. It's very easy to sit there and let the group sort of wash over you.
Yeah, everything is around our social battery. When we try not to deplete all of it, and our social battery is much smaller than for non-divergent people. Ah, it's pretty hard, you know. Why am I open these eyes? Most of the time we just don't want to talk anything. We just like to hear, because sometimes we don't want to share, because we don't have anything to share. That's normal. But for some people it may be strange. For example, often my fiance asks me, "Hey Lindsay, what do you think about this and this?" Yes, I can say I have I have not any opinion. Why? Why not? Because this is not interesting for me. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not researching. I'm not trying to get more information. Until I don't have much more information, I will not develop my opinion. But then it can go into hyperfixation, and I can, you know, talk and 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 talk. There is a time that history time, and I don't know if this is some kind of weakness or not, but There was a time I was going to the group about anime, fantasy, those kind of thing, and they allowed us to make one a week presentation about anything we want. So I said I will be first. I was new in the group, but it clicked something that my mask a little fell down. It was alright. I felt great. And I made a round presentation about lore of the Metal Gear Solid. It, if I, they said, if they wouldn't say to stop, it would take around 3 hours of non-stop talking. In the half, they said they don't want to hear anything. This is just too much. But I was just starting. So yeah, this hyperfixation may be a problem sometimes. But those kind of situations push us back to not interact more. Sad.
But it often leads people to assume that I am shy and that I am much more introverted than I actually am.
I am shy and I'm introvert, so if someone say that I'm not introvert and shy right now, yes, because I'm not. I have a model. I'm not that shy. This is something that doesn't make me don't make me shy. Well, as you can see, I'm a little different. Is it true or is it another mask? Hard to say for me right now, you know. But I think this is more me than me normally. So yeah.
So the next category that they identified is called shallow compensation. And this is sort of like the basics: copying people, making eye contact, learning and enacting social scripts.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. This is something that autistic people can learn and learn for years. Trying to copy some behavior or some responses just to make seen as a normal, but sometimes it doesn't look even remotely normal, so they think about even worse. Oh my god, yes. For me, I don't know about eye contacts, how long I should, when I should look in the eyes of other person. This is strange for me. I know this is some kind of social interaction to really what for? You can say I don't know right now on the chat, or if someone is watching on the YouTube, so in the comments, so can say a little more about that for me. Okay.
And social rules and body language and things that don't come naturally to us, but come as a result of sort of studying other people, kind of like an anthropologist would, and trying to mimic the social norms on a basic behavioral level.
Yeah, like I said, because we want to mix with those groups and don't want to be banished. It's hard. At least I would say hard.
How do they greet each other, for example? And I'm personally one of those people that finds greetings really stressful, especially here in the Netherlands, where the standard greeting for people that you've met more than like once is 3 cheek kisses.
Oh. Okay. This is I know that how to say it. My fiance has a cousin that lives in France, and he greets in the by the France rules. So also there's 3 cheeks, 3 kisses on the cheeks. And when his first time he does that, it was so uncomfortable for me, so disturbing that I was a little bit paralyzed, that I didn't know what to do. And really, I don't want to repeat that anytime soon. I If this is not a person that I allow of any kind to coming closer to me with their body, I just don't want to be touched more that I need to by greetings with a hand. Hmm?
And it's really awkward because I don't like being kissed by people I don't know,
Yeah.
even if I've met them once. That's not like. And also, when you're in an international environment and you have a lot of different people around, you never really know what to do. And I know in the UK and possibly in America, this is also true because there is no set social script.
Is it true, my American viewers? I would like to know if she's telling the truth, or this is some um, stereotypes. Do you have any social interaction sets, rules?
So you have to like be up to date with what's going on, and this can result in like quite a few awkward encounters. But shallow compensation is basically studying others to figure out how to make these interactions go more smoothly. Even though you don't really get it, you might.
Yeah, I still, like I say, eye contact and close. I don't know how to say, more touching body that is needed to. I know how it sounds. I know. Don't laugh at it. Just don't. But you understand. What else I would say? Uh, Chit chat. Like I previously say on like I said on a previous stream, I don't understand chit chat. It's strange for me, and I often don't know what to say. So I learn about chit chat. I needed to learn this. I for long thought that I'm not I'm a strange person that don't know how to talk, so I'm a little freak. But right now I know because of the autism I have a very huge problem with social interactions. So, for example, chit chat when I don't know what to say. I want information. So if you say what I think is information, I can say okay. And you want more, you want more. You want to that I will start talking about how to say it. Take this subject to talk more about it. If this not to get me some information that it's something that I don't know, or you might think I don't know. So okay, but talking about I don't know weather or temperature, it's hot. I know it's hot. I feel that. What do you want me to say? Yes, it's hot. And what? What? What more? Oh, it's raining. Yeah, yeah. I see it's raining. I took umbrella with me. And what? That's all? That's the whole conversation? I don't know.
Might not like it and basically just want to run away from the whole thing. But it's the very basics like the scripts, the interactions, the greetings, the body language. That is shallow compensation. So the third category they called deep compensation, which, as you can imagine, goes a little bit deeper than that.
Interesting. Let's see about that.
And this is something that I think I started doing from about my late teens to early 20s, or maybe mid to late teens to early 20s, through my 20s, in fact. Obviously, I study psychology, which
I want to study psychology. but it's very expensive in my country. Unless I will do it on my own head, but this is a very, very delicate subject that I don't want to. I don't want that later this will backfire at me because I took wrong information from the out of the date books.
In hindsight seems like a desperate cry to understand people. And apparently it's not that uncommon for autistic people to be interested in psychology for
I'm feeling called out.
that very reason. So deep compensation, as the name suggests, is a much deeper way to compensate for a difference, but also, as the name suggests, it is still a compensation. If you're talking about cognitive struggles, like maybe theory of mind, you might start out as an early teen with poor theory of mind, but through a practiced and somewhat intellectual approach, you might learn to build on the skill, and it might be in a different way than what comes naturally to neurotypical people, who would also be learning social skills during this time. But for autistic people that are deeply compensating, or the deep compensation, it is something that is much more of a measured attempt to do it and an intellectual attempt rather than a natural kind of social attempt. So for example, when I was a teenager, I loved watching certain TV shows, especially like the teen shows.
Sorry that I'm not pausing and talking anything, but I want to learn more to know what she's talking about because of my eyes. Because I don't know if I'm thinking right or not. What is wrong with my eyes? I have nearly opened my eyes, and why my character has closed them? God damn it! I don't have glasses, so you should work fine.
Of the 90s and early 2000s that for some reason had a load of emotional depth to them. Yeah, we're talking about Buffy again, aren't we? Let me know if you want me to do a video on my special interest of Buffy as a teenager. I say as a teenager, as a 20-something, as a 30-something. But when I watched these shows, I would analyse them with an interest that was way more than just like a casual viewer, and it was more casual because it was providing me with a social education in some ways and insight into people.
I think I understand what she's talking about, and I'm still doing it. Because when I'm more interested in some kind of character, for example, in the TV shows or movie, I'm not watching movie right now, I'm sorry, or any TV shows. I'm sometimes I lost the plot because I'm thinking about the description of this character, about behavior, about why, asking why and how. It's not something like learning about this character than the whole movie, for example.
And social skills and expectations and the inner life of others that I wasn't able to do in the real world because I could barely get past the sort of shallow compensation. I was still learning these social scripts, and it felt like I could never really get to the deeper part, even though I did have friends. I'm talking about the general social interactions with like wider groups of people and my peers at school and things like that. So I watched these TV shows like an anthropologist would, basically.
So it was learning the. It's not like feeling how to do some things. It's studying. It's like really deep studying how and why people should do it. And I think I'm doing this because more than interested than for learning to use in my real life. But I see where this is going. Okay.
And that's how I learned about people. But according to the researchers, this can actually provoke a genuine improvement in things like theory of mind And even though the route to getting there isn't the same. And I wonder if that is what eventually happened to me, that I worked so hard at trying to understand people that I actually do now. And sometimes I think my pattern recognition and these sort of heuristics that I've learned work a little bit too well. And so sometimes I can understand people a little bit deeper than maybe they would have expected.
I think I would like to try this, but I need to learn about more about the psychology. With my state of mind, it will be very, very hard, but I will maybe try in the future on my own hand. And who knows, maybe in the far future, I will go to university to learn more from the professional people with the up-to-date books and theories. Who knows?
And I can figure things out about people, which tends to unnerve them. And so I think this exacerbates this feeling of like uncanny valley. I talked about this in another video called Why Autistic People Seem Weird or something like that, which I will link below. It's
Okay, I have another video to watch with you, but today this will not be a topic because for second video I have something else. But I will keep this in mind.
got this thumbnail. So I talked about how autistic people kind of like are in the uncanny valley where it's like something's not quite right, but people can't figure out why. And I think for me, this is one of the reasons why I make people uncomfortable, because like I make very kind of shrewd observations about them, because that's how I learned how to understand people. And then it goes a bit far and it freaks them out.
Yeah, I often try to do this by my own, but I didn't get that good in that, so I still have some problems with identification of the response to some emotions, because I don't know what to say in some kind of emotions, especially when someone is very, very sad or angry. I don't really know what to do. I don't know. I still don't know. What should I say? For example, when my fiancée said I should hug her, I should talk to her, maybe some good words. I don't know. I don't really know. There is a reason why some of my patterns doesn't work, but maybe let's not talk about this on this stream.
So the final strategy that they talk about in their paper is accommodation. And this basically means you've changed your life in some way to accommodate your own needs, probably without realizing it, to accommodate your weaknesses or differences or whatever, so it doesn't seem so noticeable to others or even to yourself. And they actually cited the example, which I feel a little bit personally attacked by, of moving abroad so that social differences don't seem so big. And they're attributed to being foreign rather than being autistic, foreign in a different way, maybe.
Well, I suspect I did that because how to say that? I am very how to say in English? Wait, give me a moment, give me a few seconds. I will think about that. I am like I very much feel emotions. Emotional. I'm very emotional person. I often could cry or laugh just very, very hard, jumping from one emotion to another because of those emotional feelings. But there's a time on my country, and I think there's still a lot of places in my country that people cannot, especially men, should not cry, should not show emotions. They should be tough up. And it is hard for me to. It was hard for me to not show those emotions, but I needed to accommodate to the realities, especially when I started going to the work, where on the work there wasn't so much nice people. On my first work there wasn't so much such a nice people. Wouldn't say there was mobbing, but for sure it wasn't a pleasure to work there. It wasn't a pleasure to work there, and often I wanted just to cry because of that's unpleasant. I am trying to be very nice guy. I'm not trying to fight or find dramas. I always try to mm, go on a road of diplomacy and try to talk. And those guys wasn't that nice to be talking, and more like they were more like talking, but not a nice way. Especially for me when I did everything slow. I wanted to do slow things slow. I would work slow, but I try always to be very, very like working with details. You know that, and it was for my co-workers. It wasn't that good idea because you know what you must do fast, good and fast, and I couldn't do that. So I get a very not nice description about myself. So I wanted to cry, and but I needed to tough up because I'm a man. We live in a very, very wrong place.
And this hit home a little bit too much because I actually remember talking to my husband after we moved to the Netherlands and saying, like, now I'm in the Netherlands, I can just be weird and people will just think I'm British. But of course, that doesn't make me any less autistic. It just means I have changed my environment so that the difference between me and everybody else is explained by something else. And do you know what? It is actually somehow less difficult being totally different in another country than being a little bit different in your own country. Somehow it's easier.
Yes, because saying that you're from another country, it's make people add some things about the country and give to your description. You need to go into details. But if you're in your own country, they know that some of the behavior is not normal and want to know why. Sometimes they sometimes they're adding by themselves. Why? They're not asking you why are behaving like that. Just they adding tags on you. And it's easier to say, oh, I'm from Poland, or I'm from Great Britain, or I'm from Germany, and that's why I'm behaving like I'm behaving because this is the other people will say, oh, okay, okay, so you're from this and this country, okay, I don't care. But if you're from your own country, you know that those details changing everything. Give me a moment.
Other accommodation strategies might be picking a job or career that allows you plenty of alone time.
Which in 2020 was a very good time because a lot of work offered work from home. But right now, most of the companies like to go to the work from office. And as I'm without any good education, I need to go to the more like physic work where I always around people, and I don't like that because I need to be around them. and do everything what social rules needs to do, and I don't want to do it. I just want to work. Yeah. And what shall I do?
Or working from home, or has fewer social obligations attached to it, or suits any of your other sensory needs. And you might.
Yeah. About sensory needs things, sensory needs. For example, when I go to the work, I couldn't have my noise cancelling headphones. Why? Because I need to know what is going on, what is going on around me, and when is someone shouting to me, I need to know that. But every noises, every visual things, it was pretty hitting me pretty hard. I remember when I was working on a building site. It was so goddamn loud that after the work I couldn't do anything. I just wanted to turn off my mind and do whatever I can just to regenerate. After that, it was a hard time. I don't want to do this. I don't want to repeat this.
To pick these out without even realizing that you were making the accommodations that you needed. So you just think, I really like working from home because I like my environment, and you never even think of that as an autistic accommodation, but it is. And of course, accommodation isn't a bad thing. These compensatory strategies can actually be good. And they suggest that accommodation in particular might be good for autistic mental health, which kind of makes sense actually. But it might work to hide or obscure autistic traits from others, possibly leading to a harder pathway to diagnosis, or you don't get diagnosed until you're later in life, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond. And the conclusions.
And with time, people just denying to have autism. Like we see, for example, with the boomers, or what is the next generation? Give me a moment. Generations timeline. Let's see. Boomers, Generation X. Yes. So same like with Generation X. I think most of the people with Generation X will deny that they have anything common with the autism. They will say, "Oh, I'm just like that. I am who I am, and I don't have autism. I never felt that I have an autism." Yeah. So I think with the time, more and more people, younger, God damn it, wrong browser. More and more people just to know more about themselves, they will acknowledge that they may have an autism, and they will go to the doctor to check if it's true, and not that they not thinking about it. That's why maybe with the millennials and Gen Z, there are a lot of people that say, "Hey, I have an autism because I went to the doctor and they said that, hey, yes, you have an autism." And you know it changed in their life? Nothing, because this changed nothing. It's just a knowledge that you have, and now you know why some things works how it works. It's just a normal thing. God damn it, people! Don't make an autism like a strange disease, like, I don't know, if some disease taken by sexual things. How about that? Talking, and my throat is getting a little little bit tired about that. OBS and going further.
The research seemed to indicate that there was no correlation between compensatory strategies and age diagnosis. But that is definitely interesting further research, because this is one of the first studies that's been done on masking. So I really think that this is a very interesting direction to take autism research. And there might be even autistic subtypes that compensate in different ways. I mean, well, no, we just got rid of that in the last DSM, but we might be able to discover valid autistic subtypes. Obviously, not all autistic people are the same, it's a spectrum. But just from my sort of anthropological point of view, spending time with autistic people online and in real life, you can see that there are subgroups.
Archetypes. I will say this is a good word. Archetypes of autistic people. I think yes, this is very possibility to find those archetypes. But if people want to find them, I don't know if there will be any type of research. Maybe there is. Maybe. Let's check archetypes of autism research. Distinct for it's something it is in 2005. Okay, so maybe it is something like that. Okay, I will leave it for a future for me to read about that.
And I don't quite know how to explain them, but I think that would be so interesting.
Let's remember, this is 2020 when she recorded that right now, and we have 2026. And from I found it's from 2025, so 5 years later.
Future research. So these are the 4 types of compensatory strategies that work together to form the autistic mask. And for some of us, that has taken decades to construct. And it is basically our model of how to be a human being, how to live in this world. And then you get diagnosed.
Ow. Okay, let's go back 15 seconds.
Form the autistic mask. And for some of us, that has taken decades to construct. And it is basically our model of how to be a human being, how to live in this world.
Is that true? For decades, this is something too much, but I think to around our 20s, we're developing our mask for sure. From around when we are going to school or even playground to meet our first persons as a kid, we are starting to developing a mask because we see that some our behavior do not take places on normal society. Not because they're bad, because this will look strange and we don't want to look strange.
And then you get diagnosed and you realise you've been masking, but then what? And all of these strategies, in a way, do work to hide your autistic self.
Yeah, I only hope that people will find out about masking on time, not before it's too late, as I am. I found out a little too late. And this drive me straight to the autistic burnout that I am right now trying to regenerate myself. And yeah, it's very hard for me, and even basic things is very hard for me because I don't have energy, because all my energy went to masking. Right now I cannot do anything special. Thank you, life. Thank you, society.
In different ways. And the question is, can you just stop doing these things and live a life as you were supposed to do? Or have they actually become an intrinsic part of who you are, at least on a social level?
From what I say, to take off your mask to zero, no. Society will not allow you for those things. Because there always be a people that will be laughing at you and pointing fingers at you, gossiping how strange you are, and we don't want this, of course. But if you find a good group of people, for example, at work or even a friends, that you can say that you're behaving like this and like this, and they will understand that, and they will, well, not passively destroy your life, that yes, some kind of taking off this mask is very, very possible to not destroying your life.
I mean, if you suddenly stop using all these strategies, at least in a social settings, it's probably not going to go very well for you. And communication in a social way, whether verbal or non-verbal, it exists kind of like in a vacuum. If you take away the learned parts, you have to replace it with something else. Otherwise, you're not communicating, you're just sitting there.
Yeah. I'm totally not saying that the way we are communicating things often it's something strange for non. Oh Jesus! Why I forgot that word? For non-neurodivergent people, this is a very, very strange for those people, because we are very direct, and we don't want to be mean. We just want to save some information without emotions behind that. And because of that, because people always try to find some kind of emotion behind some words, and they will be confused, because our facial expression, our body language, and our words may say something totally different, which is not true, because we don't focusing on those things. So yeah, you understand that this is maybe not a vacuum. This is something more like saying things in another language. You adapt to say in non-divergent language. You learn that, and if you will take that, it would be like talking in the same language, but it's different, and it's starting to make problems.
So really, the question is, when you take all of that away, all of the stuff you've learned, what is there left to replace it with? What comes naturally? And should you even trust what comes naturally?
If you let's go to the part, if you remember what naturally for you is, because right now I'm learning right now what is natural behavior for me. It's a little strange, because I'm learning who I am.
And should you even stop doing these things? Now, there's a YouTube channel called Asperger's on the Inside, and he has a great video on this. I highly recommend checking it out after this one, because it goes into more details of the pros and cons of masking versus being yourself. And of course, it is linked down below. Now, in general, this is a very difficult question to answer, obviously. I don't think we should tell autistic people what to do. Even other autistic people, I'm not going to tell anyone, you should take the mask off. No, you should keep the mask on in this situation. Like, I can't advise anyone on that. It's completely dependent on your situation. But
yeah, it depends on the people that we met, because if we find people that will be thoughtful and open and a little bit thinking, we can drop our mask a little bit. Even not a little bit, a very bit. But still, we need to remember that the differences between non-divergent people and autistic people, it's very, very huge. And they may not understand that in a way that they should, as we want. So it's like you may drop everything that you learned, you may drop all of this, but remember that there will be consequences about that. Just saying.
If we find fulfillment in relationships developed with a mask, it's going to be really weird if we all of a sudden start acting differently. People might think that you are putting it on after your diagnosis, or they might feel like you've been tricking them all this time.
Yeah, because it is tricking them all the time, because we tricking ourselves all the time that we can adapt to the non-divergent people. It's not like we were lying to them, we just wanted to be part of them by adapting, and we don't want to unmask because we know that they may not understand us in 99% of time.
Which I can understand. And I personally think that any moves towards unmasking, if that's what you want to do, is best done slowly, with deliberation and with conversations with the people around you.
Especially with the other person that we want to be in relationship. In those moments, unfortunately, other person must understand how we are behaving, our unmask moments, because if we will hold the time masking with the significant other, we will just deplete and go into burnout and just start stop with have feelings to other person very, very quickly, just when we just don't want to. We were very I think autistic person are very, very loyal in that way, that if we're talking about relationships, we don't just want to, I don't know, we don't think about cheating and other things, but this is only what I'm thinking, and my eyes still is closing when I go my. Oh, God damn it. Okay, I give up.
Explaining that you've been using all these strategies and explaining how this one might be helping you, but this one is not and takes a lot of energy. And the thing to remember is that we've developed our masks for a reason. Perhaps as a survival strategy, and along the way, growing up, when we've been sloppy and given others a glimpse behind the mask, we might have had comments like, "Why are you so weird?" or awkward silences, or being ostracized from a group.
Yeah. I think every autistic person has something like that. So that's why we are developing our masks, because, like she said, of the ostracism and being not even more part of the group that we want to. For example, in the school, you will always want to be part of the group, for example, at least in the beginning, because you don't want to be laughed at, you don't want to be alone, or maybe different. Maybe you want to be alone, but you don't want to be alone. Maybe be some small part of group of friends, 1, 2 people that be understanding for you, but you still want them to be, and you want to be this of this group because you don't want to be alone.
People literally turning away because you said something wrong. That's happened to me. So in taking off the mask, you might need to really assess and have a good look at whether it continues to help you, because it might, partially. Masking might provide benefits such as enabling you to keep your job, for example, make new friends, maintain relationships with others, and feeling like you belong and have a place in the world.
But it's still exhausting. This is still very, very exhausting for us. We cannot say that it's not exhausting. This is depleting our social battery very, very fast. And with time, this social battery is even smaller. Just saying.
And I don't even know how exactly I would be if I stopped using these strategies that I've learned. For me, it got to the point after I became a mother that the shallow compensation, the small talk, making the right facial expressions, and this kind of thing, the sort of acting out the part of being yourself, that all suddenly became really exhausting, and I only then realised how much energy I'd been putting into it. It's extremely energy intensive. And this is something that I'm not just going to drop, but it did make me take, especially at the time, a few great big steps back from socialising. And the problem is, I've realised now that I'm actually kind of an extrovert. But
I would say I am also some kind of extrovert, but not in real life, you know. And right now, when I don't know, when here would be a lot of people watching me, I would be very, very, very extrovert and talk. I would try to talk with all of you, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. But when this IRL meeting or even on Discord meeting where there are a lot of sounds, a lot of noises, and a lot of people that want to talk, I think I am very, very introvert and I don't want to talk about anything or nearly anything. The smaller the group, the better. And I wanted to say something and I forgot about that. Also about the battery and energy intensing. Give me a moment, I will back.
to drop. But it did make me take, especially at the time, a few great big steps back from socialising.
Oh, right. Yes, I remember. Yes, it for me right now as a part of recovery, I also took a huge steps back IRL on socializing, and I'm barely talking to anyone because I don't feel it to talk to anyone because even a small chit chat it takes me a lot of energy just to later on to be a normal quote unquote normal.
And the problem is, I've realised now that I'm actually kind of an extrovert. But it got to the point where I didn't have the energy to act anymore. And without that energy, I found myself getting increasingly anxious in social situations because I was keenly aware of how autistic I was being. And because
Yeah, without this battery we are very anxious and we just want to run away. It often goes into me, and well, I don't want to be in those kind of situations because the longer I need to hide my anxiety in a group of people, the worse it is for me. It's just a huge step back in all of this.
I am recently diagnosed and extremely conscious of my own behaviour now, everything I do seemed to have this little yo soundy Sam whispering in my ear going, "That's very autistic, I wonder if they noticed."
Oh my god, yes. There's always those silent voice in our head that, hey, maybe don't say that because it's very autistic. It may be, not be good for you, and better be better withdraw and don't say anything, yada yada yada. Oh my god, just kill me.
And it's difficult. It's really difficult. And I don't want you to think that I've got it all together, because taking off the mask has been a process for me, and it's been over a year since my diagnosis, and I'm still not at the point where I've figured it all out. And I don't think I took the mask off exactly. I don't think I just, ripped it off. Ooh. I don't think I just ripped it off to, reveal my flesh underneath. But I tried to take the pressure off.
Yeah, in my position, I will say that like I said earlier, I learning what does it mean to be natural for me. I don't know where my real me starts and where is the masks. I'm trying to get a knowledge where is the line for now. And because for a long time I thought about me as a chameleon, where I can adapt to every group just to know, just to not be like be seen as a weird, but people sometimes see me as a weird man. And yeah, so right now I don't know who I am. Oh, maybe maybe I know who I am, but I'm learning where is natural I.
I tried to take the pressure off myself to be this person that I know that they want me to be. That's a Frozen quote, right? But I started really by looking at the friends who were understanding and wouldn't care if I was slightly more awkward in their company. Of course, spending more time with autistic people has been extremely nourishing for my freshly diagnosed soul. You know, you don't have to take the mask off completely. Even around autistic people, you don't. But you can just loosen the strings a little bit so it's a bit more comfortable, test the waters, and experiment with being yourself in a more authentic way that is less energy intensive, that leaves you less prone to feeling depressed and like people don't understand your true self. As a
Yeah, it's not that easy. It's easy to say, but not that easy to do, unfortunately. But yeah, people with masking should always try to find people that will be more understandable for you. And because losing at least a little bit of this mask makes everything a little bit better for you. And after a whole day of masking, of a whole day, a whole week, or a whole month, a whole year of masking, when this mask be a lose a little bit more, it's a very good feeling that maybe even have in a regenerate way. Yeah.
teenager, I was really conscious about stimming, even though I didn't do it a lot. I did it enough that occasionally people would notice. And
uh, I still sing, and I just, if I might be sure, I just don't care because it's not loud and it's not destructful for myself. Most of the time, I just moving my leg like up and down or left and right. Even right now, I'm doing this, and since I have a bird, I making the how is an English word? What the hell? Oh, the game is updated. I started thinking, what was the sound? So on my bird, I'm making a braid. So this is a braid, okay. So I'm making a braid to some kind of steaming, of course. Just making, and I don't know. I'm not doing anything, so I'm making braid on my bread. Bread, not bread. Bread. God damn it.
And every time somebody noticed a stim that I was doing, like I used to roll on my ankles a lot, I used to chew the inside of my cheek a lot.
Still doing it, unfortunately.
I would stop doing it the minute somebody pointed it out, and I would find something else to do that was more subtle. And this even was if I noticed somebody else was stimming and somebody made fun of them, even if it wasn't directed at me, I would make note of that saying, oh, that's weird, that's noticeable, don't do that. And so I was really hyper aware of the social order around me, and yet unable to participate in it without active effort and suppression of who I really was.
Yeah, sleeping until it's not, I don't know, very loud or distractible for yourself, I think, how I would say. Uh, it's nothing bad, and people should not this pointing out. It's just a normal thing. Um, I know that in some places when it's loud, it may be irritating and distracting, so they don't want to do this. For example, tapping in a library. I know it's not a place to make those kind of steaming, but like I said, moving a leg or chewing inside your mouth, it's very silent. Nothing bad is happening.
And stimming, which was sort of a stress release or emotional regulation tool. So taking it away really leads to a build-up of stress, and since my diagnosis, I have been reflecting on this and actively finding ways to stim in a positive, non-self-destructive way, but also in a more socially acceptable way. So I can do something, it makes me feel good, but doing it doesn't make other people uncomfortable.
Yeah, I heard about one girl that was her steaming was pinching her neck, like not neck behind, but in front, front neck. You understand? Just pinching, not hard, just delicately pinching and moving, just to, or even a hand. Sometimes I just scratching my hand as a way of steaming. Hand bell.
And so for me, exploring stim toys has been quite positive so far. I now really do enjoy using the thinking putty, which is basically like the blue tack that I used to obsessively play with, roll, squeeze, and even sometimes chew on. And so the thinking putty is kind of like a socially acceptable version of that, not like, why are you being strange playing with blue tack?
Uh, this is interesting because right now I on my fingers I have those spinning rings as a way of steaming that when I can't do anything, for example when I'm driving, I have my hands on a wheel, so I'm just moving a little bit those rings to steam. It's not like it's not taking my focus from the road, and I have regulate myself. It's very good. But if I recommend, you need to you need to watch out about that.
It's slightly more socially acceptable, I think. So this active stimming is actually really helping me, especially if I can find ways that don't draw too much attention to myself, because I'm still pretty self-conscious in public, and I don't like getting strange looks because I've had my share of them.
I think don't everybody don't want to look. Then when people look strange for them, I think so.
So when I remember, for example, I'll put like my little fidget block in my pocket, and then I can play with that as I'm going around or something, and that is a very subtle way to kind of work off the extra hand and finger energy. I will wear hair ties around my wrist that are really good for sort of like, people wear elastic bands, but I hate wearing elastic bands for pinging myself, so I wear the hair ties. And I've also started embracing a bit of hand flapping, which is something that I don't remember ever doing as a child, probably because I was aware that that would be big no-no.
I think I will hand flapping. I was doing, but not much. I don't know why, especially. I think as a child I was always moving my legs, like right now I'm moving. I try to find other steaming things like clicking a pen, which draw was drawing very not very unpleasant looks at me and comments to stop. Uh, Walking around is a very good for me. When I thinking, I like to walk around, and this is very strange. And I don't know if anyone is doing like that, but I like to lay on the ground, not on a bed, not on futon or anything like that, just bare ground in my house, of course. And this make me feel a little better. Strange, but I'm not doing it public, but because then it would be strange.
But I do it at home, and I've found when I'm anxious, just doing a bit of this really, really helps. And so I'm hoping that by doing it at home, then if I need to when I'm out and about, my body will know what to do or something like that. It feels very silly and a bit artificial in some ways to actively look for new stims, but I have found that it does help me regulate myself better, and that is one way that I'm really like taking off the mask, and I'm trying to be positive and be active in that process. And of course, now I have a YouTube channel about autism. Public stimming is somewhat, on brand, so that actually does help. But the really essential question.
Yeah, I behind the avatar, I can do a lot of stimming, and people will not even notice this. Maybe until I will not have full 3D model that I will can move every part of my body. Right now, I can do whatever I want, and you don't even know that.
That we're asking here is, if you do decide that you want to be your true, authentic unicorn self, who are you under all that? Are you the person that you have constructed? Are you the person that you have made because that's who you think people wanted you to be? And I'm afraid I don't have answers. But I do think that there are ways that you can work this out for yourself.
Yeah, people need to ask individually for themselves if they're masking and when the mask starts and where you begins where you begin. And because this is very individual thinking about what are you doing, what is what are you trying to hide, and what are you adapting.
It does take time and effort.
Yeah, the best thing is I think books about that and therapy. You need to go to therapy that other person will direct you to the answers, because therapists don't give you answers. You need to find the answers for by yourself, but therapists can lead you to the answers by asking good questions.
Boo. So things you can do include therapy, which is great, but obviously not affordable to a lot of people. You can do...
Unfortunately, yes, even in my country, the therapy is very, very costly. I don't know if in other country, I don't know, no, for my, for example, my American viewers or any other viewers, how is your prices about therapy? But in my country, it is pricey. The good therapies will take a lot of money for one session, and one session is 1 hour. Unfortunately, we live in a world where if you want to take care mentally, take care at least for yourself, you need to pay a lot. And I know that for example, in America, United States, not the whole America, in United States, you will, even for just a normal medical appointment, you need to pay a lot of. So I'm sorry for you.
Journaling. You can try meditation if you can bear it.
Meditation is a very hard topic and hard thing to do.
I find it excessively boring. But maybe there's a little ADHD there somewhere.
Yep.
Talking to other autistic people is a great way of figuring out who you are.
Yeah, if you are able to have a group, find a group of autistic people. In my country, there's made by by the government. You can find autistic people that like meetups, like with AA, Anonymous Alcoholic, that they can. I know this is very bad example, but this is something like that you find, we were talking about and try to help each other. In Poland, you can. This is those group must be. It cannot be like first. How to say that? You need to be regulated by the government and rules. It cannot be like just like that. Maybe, but this is not an official group.
Asking your friends and family how they would describe you, what adjectives they might use, because sometimes other people have a really different perspective on us than we have on ourselves.
This is, I think, very common, not even for not neurodivergent people.
And especially family or people who know you really, really well, that you might be a little bit more unmasked with. They might be able to say, well, yeah, you act like this in public or with people you don't know very well, but with us, this is who you are. And so that can give you a little bit more insight. But it takes time to work out what is just an illusion of self and what is true. But maybe that's not even the right question. I mean, is life not one big illusion anyway? We might all be in a simulation. We have no concept of what is real and what is real life and that sort of stuff. And I promise that I have not been smoking anything. What is real life?
Press X to doubt.
I think that's the second time I made this joke on a video. But you know, one of the hardest things for me to come to terms with since my diagnosis is that before I was diagnosed with autism and before I had any concept that I might be autistic, I saw myself as quite unique and different and quirky and all these things, and I was like, I'm quite special, aren't I? I'm not like everybody else.
I'm feeling call out. Again.
But since meeting other autistic people online and in real life, it turns out I'm not that unique or quirky or special. I'm just like other autistic people, actually, and this is humbling, but you know what? It's also kind of a relief, and sometimes a bit of humble feels good. So I really want to apologize for raising more questions in this video than I can answer, and maybe can't even be answered.
Because all of those answers you need to all of those questions you need to answer by yourself. Let's be honest. You need to answer by yourself.
This was kind of like Philosophy of Autism 101. There's an interesting class. Next week we will discuss the question, if a tree falls in the wood, can the autistic person see the wood for the trees? If you like this video...
Too much philosophy, but thank you, Sam, for this video. It was good, it raised a lot of questions and some answers, and I could add something from myself. Thank you, good video. As always, Yoink, you show for her some kind of gratitude for this video because it's good. Check her out, give a subscription as I should do, like